Yes, people, welcome back to Sports and Banter podcast every Sunday, 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? This is the football podcast that brings you the best in. I'm getting some feedback.
Sorry, man.
Hang on a minute. Do you know what it is, mate? Sorry, guys, I've got two windows open. And what's happening is I'm listening to my self live. All right, that's better. Sorry, guys. Engineer. Yeah, so as we were saying, this is the Sports and Banter podcast. You know what I mean? Every Sunday, 8 o'clock. This is all the best in the football's results, latest news, little debates that we have with each other. We've got two kings on the panel, which is myself, Glenroy, and we've got Ellis, which is the red side of North London, and then we've got the two other side of North London, which is Mr. Hassan. How you doing, Ass?
So, mate.
And Mr. Hakan, how you doing, Hack?
Yeah, I'd say the pride of North London, mate, when you introduce us, please.
And I forgot to even go to Ellis. How you doing, Ellis?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Very well indeed.
Good. So tonight's show, we'll run through the results of the Premier League. We'll have a quick discussion on the United scraping back yesterday against Bournemouth. We'll talk about Tottenham just about surviving against Wolves, and then we'll talk about the mighty Arsenal with a tremendous performance against the old Liverpool. So, Ellis, do you want to crack on with the results first of all for the Premier League yesterday?
Yeah, so we got Bournemouth 1, Man United 2, Cardiff 0, Leicester 1, Everton 3, Brighton 1, Newcastle 1, Watford 0, West Ham 4, Burnley 2, Arsenal 1, Liverpool 1, Wolves 2, Tottenham 3, Man City 6, Southampton 1, Chelsea 3, and Crystal Palace 1.
Nice. God, Man City 6. I didn't realize they won 6.
Slapped up from Southampton.
Damn, Marquise, man, he's got a ghost in, isn't he?
How does he keep getting a job?
He's worse than he's better. David Moyes or Hughesy.
You got to throw Pardew in that same barrel as well. All three of them, terrible.
Yeah, but he's washed now, isn't it? Pardew hasn't got a club no more. I think he's out of it.
Yeah. Who's the most successful out of the three?
Oh, probably Hughes as a player.
Yeah.
That is. Is there even a cup between, like a League Cup or an FA Cup between any of them?
Did Moyes win something with Everton? Did he win something with Everton?
Don't think he did. No.
Mark Hughes. He won. Didn't he win with Man City Cup or something?
Yeah.
Spent about flipping 200 million and won a League Cup. Quality. Right. In fact, can we just post the? Is everyone posted the link in the Facebook and on Twitter?
Yeah, on the Facebook just now. I'm doing Twitter now.
Good man, Hassan. Right. So, the first topic of the day we'll run through. Which game should we go through first?
It's got to be Arsenal Liverpool, innit?
Oh, I normally say save the best till last, personally. But you know what I mean. If you don't want to go there, then.
Yeah, we'll start off with Arsenal Liverpool because that was obviously the big
standout fixture
this weekend. I wouldn't say standout fixture, but it will be the standout fixture. The top 4 game this weekend, and obviously in perspective of the top 4/6, it's a 6-pointer, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
no, definitely.
All right, Ellis. Well, you were there, Ellis. You went to the game yesterday, so I'll let you crack on.
It was a bit of a funny one, really. Like, obviously, we've been in reasonably good form going into it, like with a consistent unbeaten run. But it was almost like this was our first proper test since like the City and Chelsea games. And as much as we were playing well, I think there was a chance that we would do a typical Arsenal and get pummeled against one of the big teams as well, especially the way Liverpool play on the break and stuff like that. And make no bones about it, we are still susceptible in defence to an error and stuff like that. So I was actually quite nervous going into a game, which was a bit of a change to going down to Arsenal recently. Normally, like, you go down there and everything's a bit of a bonus. But I think we started the game really well. And for the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, I thought we started really very much on the front foot. And, you know, almost tested Liverpool to a certain extent. And then Liverpool came back into the game around about sort of 15 minutes. And I think they probably controlled the rest of the first half. And, you know, getting their foot on the game. I think Salah was causing problems down the right-hand side. I think Kolasinac was too far off him on numerous occasions. And I think, you know, to a certain extent, Xhaka had to get him out of trouble with almost a sliding tackle, which had my heart in my mouth at one point, because we all know how rash Xhaka is. You only got to take last week against, you know, the deep-sea diver, Zaha. But, you know, we stood up to the test reasonably well. And then it came to half-time. And I thought we came out in the second half and yet again started on the front foot. Liverpool then went 1-0 up. People I've been reading on Twitter asking questions about Leno and stuff like that. But the way I looked at it when I watched the goal, first of all, is he's pretty much at fault for the goal. Then I got home and watched a bit of the highlights, and you actually see that when Leno palms it out, it actually deflects off Rob Holding and then goes straight to Milner. You know, another week that when Leno palms it out, it goes to another Arsenal player, or that it goes into play. If Leno gets that goal, cross go through, there's another Liverpool striker straight behind him anyways. That would probably put the ball into an open net. So I think to criticise Leno for the goal, pretty harsh, to be honest. But the big thing that stood out to me was, like, you know, everyone, we get slated. The atmosphere at the Emirates isn't best at the best of times. But the fans got right behind the team as soon as Liverpool scored. And, you know, in the past, like, the team would have had that sorry, stupid, gormless, feeling sorry for themselves look on their face, and they would have continued to pass it around to each other. But they didn't do that at all. They're like, almost like they believe that we can get a goal here. We can, you know, we are as good as them, and we're not scared to show it. And credit to Emre as well. Like, his changes. I mean, look, I was very much a Wenger fan. However, there is no way Wenger would have dared put Iwobi at left back and brought Welbeck on to go and chase the game to get a goal. And credit to him. And then then Lacazette scored a fantastic goal. Took his chance, very Ian Wright-like, I think, the way he scored the goal. And you know, we were pushing for a second. I think maybe if the game was to go on for another 10, 15 minutes, there was really one team that was going to go on and win it. However, saying that, we all know how susceptible we are, and memories of Monaco at home in the Champions League, pushing on to get a late goal to win it, and then conceding a goal and going out. So on the whole, I think it was an excellent team performance. I think a lot of people are getting carried away with the fact that, Arsenal are celebrating a draw, they're celebrating a draw. It's not the fact that we're celebrating a draw. This is the first time in a long time that we've actually had the bottle, rolled our sleeves up and come back against one of the so-called favourites for the league. I think we've shut ex-Arsenal legend Paul Merson up a little bit as well with his comments that if Liverpool don't beat Arsenal by 3 or 4, then he'll be hugely surprised. So I think he just needs to pipe down and stop making controversial statements in order to try and stay relevant. And then also as well, big shout outs to, I thought Rob Holding was fantastic. I think Xhaka probably had one of his best games for us. And yet again, the little Uruguayan pitbull in midfield I thought was excellent as well, Torreira. You know, he comes from Uruguay, he's only 5'5". He's really quickly turning into a cult hero there. I thought Lacazette took his goal really well. But yeah, on the whole, it was just almost a little bit of a statement to the team, to the league, that we're not a joke anymore. The banter area, the so-called banter area, is over to a certain extent. We have got the minerals to dig out a result, and especially in the past when people have almost expected us to press the self-destruct button, we didn't fucking do that this time. And fair play to Emre as well with his changes. But yeah, apart from that, I'm not going to rumble on too much longer because, like I said, it was a draw. But the most pleasing thing was the attitude and the response from the players in going a goal down, which was great to see. Almost like the Arsenal of old.
Can I put you in there, mate? So yeah,
You're gone, Azan. You go next.
Yeah, so you've obviously come in with the good side of the Arsenal. How about Liverpool? What did Liverpool do anything good?
Well,
I was away in Dam, obviously, you know that, so I didn't get to see the game. So
yeah, one player that stood out for me with Liverpool, and he looks every penny worth the money they paid for him, was Van Dijk. Like, yeah, he had a chance to score, but that's not what you want your centre half to do. That's not what you're judging necessarily a centre half on. The guy's a man mountain. He's composed. He just knows how to get his body in the line. Like he's just amazing. The way he organises the back line. He's very much, in terms of that respect, like Vincent Kompany in a way. The old-fashioned centre halves where they are very verbal. They talk to their back line throughout. That was clear to see. I don't think necessarily the forward line gave us too many problems. I think Firmino was quite non-existent throughout the game. I think Salah drifted in and out of the game. I don't know whether he's 100% fit or not. Mane, I've never seen a player go down as much as that guy does. Like, and it wasn't just over innocuous tackles. It's literally like someone will shut him down and he'll just fall over. I think Fabinho. Yeah, I would say so. I think Fabinho still looks work in progress, and the amount of money they pay for him is still questionable. I think James Milner still demonstrated how much of an underrated player he is, and I think the argument still goes on that I still can't see how he didn't get selected for the World Cup squad. Joe Gomez impressed me. I don't think Alexander Arnold had his best game. Probably the press about him sexting 7 month pregnant women.
You know
probably
what I
mean? Getting to him a little bit.
He's getting it in when he can.
Yeah. Alisson looked a bit shaky as well. So I think there was a possibility of a penalty shout when Mkhitaryan's just missed for a header and Alisson's come out and smashed him to a certain extent, but. Look, at the end of the day, I think it was a great advert for the Premier League, and I think it was a great game of football, even for the neutrals to watch as well. So, on the whole, really pleased with the performance.
I'd just like to say one more thing on this. I've just listened to your review on it, and I'm just a little bit concerned that you've said that you've had 13 games now, is it? Unbeaten. It's not unbeaten. 13 games unbeaten, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 13 games unbeaten.
You played 15 games now this season. You lost the first two, arguably two tough starts. I will give you that. And then you've come back to back with wins and cut the draws. And you're happy with the progress you're making underneath Emre, yeah? Good.
So what is that? Your point?
Yeah,
you ain't got no point. That's why, rude boy. He's trying to pick holes. He's trying to pick holes in that.
He played 13 games, and out of them 13 games, the hardest one was Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've managed to gain a good draw out of it, a good point. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. And you're seeing a different kind of side to your team now, where you're gritting out results, you're fighting still. Where previously, before coming to the end of the Wenger era, you might feel that you may say that actually we wasn't really doing that.
Oh, 100%. There is no way we were. Look, there is no way we would have responded like we did under Wenger yesterday. I think tactically, Emre is already demonstrating that he's in front of him. Yeah, I think Emre demonstrates he sets up his team for a result rather for that particular team and that particular result. I think that Emre demonstrates that he's not scared to make changes throughout the game, whereas Wenger, you could pretty much predict the first substitution wouldn't be made until 65, 70, 75 minutes. I mean, look, yesterday, in order to bring Danny Welbeck on, he brought put Alexander Iwobi at left back, who's been arguably one of our most improved players this season, and in order to get on another striker. Now, Glenroy will probably agree with me here. There is no way Wenger would have done that. No way.
Nah, to be honest with you, Wenger would never have done that. Like, I'll have my little quick say on this. To be honest, yesterday I was very, very, very impressed with the squad. I think it's the first game. Like, everyone's been talking about, the 13 game unbeaten. We haven't played anybody, ta. But everyone's then going to say, oh yeah, the Premier League's the hardest league in the world, and every week's competitive and all this sort of rubbish. You know what I mean? But I mean, to an extent, I can agree. You know what I mean? And Liverpool was a proper test yesterday, and I think we came out with flying colours. You could actually see a structure to our defending. You see, like, when we didn't have the ball, you could actually see, like, our defence coordinated together, the midfield, even pressing from the front, Lacazette pressing from the front. He's our furthest player forward, and we made it hard for Liverpool to get through the lines, play between the lines. Salah, mate, where was he yesterday? Because he was in his pocket yesterday. Bellerin, you know what I mean? Half injured Bellerin absolutely tore it up yesterday. And again, week on week, that guy is just getting much better and better. You can see he's actually improving. He's being coached in not just in defending, but also with his attacking, his final balls into the box. He's actually shooting. It's just all good. Liverpool's goal. Bernd Leno obviously went to catch it. He's kind of palmed it out. I still think that really it's a mistake by Leno. I do think that he should have done a bit better with it. Can somebody mute their mic, please, Hassan? Let's mute these people's mics. Yeah, I think he should have done a lot better with the cross. Although it did get a deflection, I think if you're coming for it like that, he's got to get two hands on it without a shadow of a doubt. But Milner, credit to him, he took his goal well. In fact, Milner had a brilliant game, and another top quality game that he's having this season. Torreira. Need to talk about this, man. Torreira. This guy is a G. Let me tell you, Torreira is a little Tasmanian devil, mate. I tell you, he gets around there, he gets around the pitch, snaps at people's legs, gets in the ball, and the quality that he's got on the ball, not just tackling, but his awareness is, apart from his shooting, if you see that shot that he had. But he gets the ball. He's always looking to go forward. He's not really looking to go sideways and backwards. It's just positive. Maybe if we'd have had him 3 or 4 years ago, we might have done a little bit better in other competitions and maybe in the league standings. Not saying we would have won anything, but we might have actually got somewhere in the top 4. But yeah, absolutely brilliant, and I think he could be one of the steals of the season for us, definitely. Lacazette again, just carrying on his good run of form, and again just cementing his place in the team and just expressing why he is at the moment is top of the tree, at the top of up front, and keeping Lacazette, keeping Aubameyang out wide and on the bench. Aubameyang did look a bit frustrated yesterday, especially when he came off. But when you got a man like Lacazette passing in them goals like that, then there's just no coming back from that, really. But I'm really, really happy with the result. I think we played absolutely brilliant. And again, like, if this was last season, we went 1-0 down. That would have been like 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Within the space of probably 10, 15 minutes, game would have been over. And that would have been that. But no, the players we went 1-0 down, and the players kept their heads up. You know what I mean? The manager's on the sideline barking orders. He does not sit down. He doesn't take a rest. He's out there. You know what I mean? He's literally playing the game with the players, which is what I love, a bit of passion. And I think it rubs off on the players. They go the extra yard, and tactically, again, and like Ellis said, tactically, his substitutions, you know, he's got them on point. You know what I mean? He has got them on point. You know, with all the substitutions, I think we scored the most goals using our substitutions this season. And also, what I would like to say is that we did start off a lot better this week. We've been starting off slow, real slow, the last couple of weeks. But yeah, yesterday we was on it. I think we started quite quickly or quicker than what we have done, which is good, really. And I think that set the tone for the game. Didn't really let Liverpool get a good grip in the game. They had a couple of clear-cut chances though. Van Dijk was immense as usual. But overall, no, happy with the result, and bring on next week. I can.
Yeah, well, I was in Amsterdam, so I see the last half hour of the game. Looked like a bit of an insane game. Didn't look like Liverpool was on the ball. Looked like Arsenal was sort of on top, especially the last half an hour. Give it to their dues, but as I didn't see it, I can't really speak too much about the performance itself. So I'm just going to ask you two a couple of questions, to be honest, you two gooners. you seem to be very impressed with Arsenal, and like I say, I haven't seen it, so don't come jumping down my throat. But put it in perspective, you drew at home against a top 6 contending team, or a top 4, or one of the favourites to win the league, however you put it like that. And the way it's coming across is Liverpool played crap, yet the game was a fair, deserved draw. Don't really make much sense. It sounds like you're not either giving Liverpool enough credit, or you tell me.
Nah, mate. Nah,
do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'll go first. Nah, look.
We control. I'm just asking you.
Yeah. No. We controlled. I think personally, I think we controlled the game. Liverpool. They didn't play crap, but they put it like this: like all their danger men, we snuffled it out. Salah, Mane, Firmino, they didn't have a sniff. You know what I mean? We in that sense, we played really well. But then there was other chances where they did play well. You know, Van Dijk could have got a goal or two. Who else? There was another chance. Somebody else had another chance.
That one ruled offside.
Yeah, the one ruled offside.
What about for Liverpool standards, though? Did they play well for Liverpool standards, looking at how they this year and how they last year?
Nah.
What you sort of like look to it is measure up how your performance was yesterday and how you could beat an underperforming Liverpool team. And that's not a diss.
It's more psychological, though. I think what it's done, Akan, is psychologically we would have gone into the game. Players would have probably been a little bit fearful. Normally, when we play Liverpool, you know, like it's normally a 2 or 3-1 or 4-1, or you know what I mean. Like we're normally 2 or 3 goals behind, and I think like psychologically, I mean, I was scared psychologically going into this game, but I think even though we've got a draw, we've shown that all right, we didn't convert all of our chances. They didn't convert all of their chances. They wasn't up to 100%, but I think the reason why they weren't at 100% is because we didn't allow them to be. Mm-hmm. And fair enough, we didn't get the win, but at least we interrupted their game, which we haven't done for years, mate. You know, it's just so I think it's just the improvement tactically. What I saw yesterday is what I'm more impressed with rather than the result. Ellis?
I don't really necessarily. It's the fact that we're celebrating a draw. Because it's not at all.
Listen back to this podcast, right? And you haven't given no credit. I mean, like I say, I can't say too much of a word, but I'm just listening to it like, as an outsider, as such. Yeah. You've given no credit to Liverpool, yet put loads of praise on Arsenal. You drew a game against an underperforming Liverpool team.
I don't think it's a case
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
And you're happy about that.
Well, if you let me talk, I'll explain it to you why I'm happy about it. It's not a case of... Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Let Ellis... Now they're both in.
Ellis can say what he's got to say, but I just want to say what I've got to say. So I'm sure Ellis will answer that within his next question.
Yeah, but he's answering I can.
Yeah, I know, but then he'll answer that all in one because it's quite similar. But I'm with Hakan. Like, I've just listened to you two tell me how good your team was and how bad Liverpool were.
It's not a case of that at all.
No, I think you're misreading what we're saying.
I think you're taking it the wrong. You're taking it as in
Yeah, you're taking it out of context.
I'm not disputing that. That's why I just think we need to make it clear to the viewers, and the listeners, the people that are listening to this, that you and Ellis and Roots are not going to be totally biased towards Arsenal here. Obviously you're happy with the performance and where you've come from in the previous seasons and when you've had some bad seasons. All I'm trying to say is that I've not heard. I can't comment at all. I never watched the game. I would, but credit where credit's due into Liverpool's sort of start. They have done.
Okay, the way I look at it is that first of all, Liverpool have had 4 years and around about 400 million under Klopp, and they've improved. And we've had six months maybe, and around about 70 million under 70 million roughly invested. And we've seen a distinct improvement, I think, in that short space of time. Now, credit to Liverpool. They are one of the front runners for the league this year, but I'm not poo-pooing them in any way. But I think the fact that it may come across like that is because we did not allow them necessarily to get a stronghold in the game. I don't think we necessarily allowed them to play to their strengths. I think we went very tight on the marking in terms of their front three, because their front three would cause anyone problems week in, week out in the Premier League. And I think the fact that if you look at the stats, what was it, 63 to 37% possession and stuff like that in our favour. And and it was just a case of, and it's not the draw that I don't think the Arsenal fans are happy about. Because I think we are bigger than celebrating a draw. The fact of the matter is, the fact that the Arsenal fans are happy is that we didn't lay down and die to probably one of the top 3 teams in the league. We weren't scared to play on the front foot. We didn't capitulate when we went a goal down. And, we weren't intimidated by them in any way. Let's not forget, Liverpool... when teams play against Liverpool they normally sit back and let Liverpool come onto them because they're scared about what Liverpool can do on the break. We didn't do that. And I think that's why Liverpool weren't able to get a strong hold in the game. Liverpool, let's not forget, Liverpool did cause us some problems at times. Like I said earlier, Kolasinac was giving Salah way too much space in the first half, and they were getting at us. Xhaka did have to make a...
What was the answer to your question, Matt?
What do you mean?
So what? Overall, the question was, which I asked you guys. So you guys are telling me you guys are happy, and I haven't watched the game.
Like I said, it's not the draw I'm happy with. It's
a draw at home against an underperforming Liverpool team.
No, I'm happy with the performance, not the result.
Are you not deaf or something? We both said the same thing.
Let me ask you this question, okay?
I think we should move on subject.
If Lamela scores that goal, would you have been happy you'd have drawn with an underperforming Man City at home?
Man City and Liverpool are 2 different...
No.
Oh, come on. Look, come on and listen, mate. You're speaking about the champions here, mate.
Okay, so what?
Against a team that's never won the Premier League.
It's a one-horse race, is it?
No, they've just won the Champions League 5 times.
So that'll bring us on to our topic of the week.
You're a Liverpool fan now.
Biggest teams.
No, I'm not. I'm doing the same comparison you're doing.
No,
listen. We've just told you that it wasn't. It's not so much the result. Yeah, it's the improvement in which our clubs come from last year to this year. Yeah, that we're happy with. But you lot seem to just have this agenda.
No,
for some reason.
Especially after last week, when we even praised Spurs in a way.
Yeah.
And look, you guys have got me totally wrong. I haven't seen the game, so I can't sit there and say Arsenal played crap.
So how do you know Liverpool underperformed then?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I'm just saying from your 2 explanations of the games, it came across that Liverpool didn't have much of a say in the game, and Arsenal bossed it, and you was happy with a draw. That's how it came across.
Okay, I said.
I'll be honest, I'm going to say something now, right? Now, I see what you're saying. See, I'm going to be honest. I see what you're saying as Arsenal fans. You're happy with where you've come from last year. underneath a new manager in a short time. Yeah, I respect that. And my whole point of me asking you these questions right, is that you guys are too quick to slate Spurs, right, every single time, right,
Exactly.
when it comes to these sort of things. But you're sitting here now telling me exactly what I would sit here and tell you about Spurs, but you'd give me crap about it.
Exactly.
Did we give you
That is
crap
the
about
only
Spurs
reason.
last week
That's
when
the
we all
only reason
agreed
I'm
that they'd
saying it to you.
improved?
You know what I mean? I'm honest about Spurs. I don't care what anyone says. I feel I'm very honest about Spurs, and I know where we lack. Yeah. Now, I mentioned something earlier on in the group, and I turned around and said that Spurs, according to everyone else, Talk Sport, Sky Sports, and a lot of other fans, Spurs are crap, this, that, the other. But we currently sitting fourth, above you.
I don't think necessarily these people have called Spurs crap at all. I think they say pretty much what we're all saying. If they are going to want to go to the next level, then we said it in last week's show that
Mate,
you need to invest.
Not to be sorry to cut you off, but not to be funny, but how the heck did you turn this on to Spurs, mate?
I haven't turned it on to Spurs. I'm categorically stating stuff that I've just listened to what you two said about your performance against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're talking
Where
now, and now you're talking about people saying that Spurs are
And
crap.
you're coming out of all this crap about how you've done well and you've progressed, which I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I do agree that I think that since Umri's, whatever his name is, has come in, yeah, he's done really well with you guys in a short period of time. You know what I mean?
Well,
Anyway,
look, if we speak,
Well,
of my assessment, like of what I was speaking about, I never once give my opinion. I was asking you questions. If we're going off the subject and going on to about Arsenal now and so on in this season,
no, we're just talking about the game.
All right. Well, then let's move on to a different subject.
All right. Do you guys want to talk about Wolves, Spurs? Wolves and Spurs?
Might as well get onto the Wolves Spurs, isn't it?
Did you watch that one?
Yeah, we watched that one, mate.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
I watched
Good.
that.
Go on, Nassan. You might as well go then.
Yeah. So my thing is, I watched that. I thought Spurs got off to a really good start. We did look at a more dangerous team in the first half, hence being 2-0 up. I think they had a goal wrongly ruled offside when it was onside. It was a perfectly legitimate goal. Don't know what the referee was seeing there, but hey ho, shit happened to us. So, we'll take it, go in at 2-0, come back out. They put a lot of pressure on us. They missed a couple of sitters. Hugo made a couple of decent saves. End up seeing ourselves 3-0 up. Now I'll go back to my last week's and the week before when we played PSV, when we played Inter, when we played Barca, when we played all our recent teams, we can see goals due to pure stupid fucking ignorance. Trippier, I'm not digging Trippier out here, yeah, but what the fuck are you trying to make someone in right near our goal? Do you know what I mean? Then puts pressure on Foy, who commits a foul and gives a penalty away. Do you understand what I mean? Oh, 3-1, they're back into it, our backs are up. Then we don't give another penalty away. 3-2. Do you understand what I mean? They had a goal scored which should have been off, which wasn't offside. She could have been easily 3-3. Wolves could have easily beat us yesterday. Do you understand what I mean? But it's them stupid little errors that Spurs continue to make that will cost us games or cost us points. And that is when we've got to learn the ball has to fucking go. Get rid of it. Do you understand what I mean? And learn how to control the game and play the game the way we know how to play it. Because we get too cocky and we keep going back and back and back and back. And before you know it, we're back at our goalkeeper. And at the moment, our goalkeeper's been highlighted a few times for a few errors he's made. Our back line's been up for discussion recently after a few errors that we've made as well. And I think them errors are caused solely by ourselves. That's what I think. But I'll take the 3-2 win, 150%. We sit fourth at the moment. I'm happy with that. I will go back to what Gary Neville said last week after the Man City game. And, a lot of people are finding it offensive about what he said, but I don't. I fucking agree with him. I think Spurs are the kind of team a few years ago that, you could be winning, we could be winning 3-0 and still be sitting on the edges of our seats as Spurs fans because you don't know what's going to happen. And again, that showed it again yesterday, as we called it. It's a bit Spursy. Do you see what I mean? And that's something that we've got to deal with and correct if we want to push forward, along with investment. Yes.
Do you remember a while back when you shamed Chloe for not knowing art and making her feel?
I can. Do you have your say?
Yeah, I'll have my little piece. Well, I thought in the first half, obviously, went 3-0 up. Very, very good in front of goal. Execution was good. And typically, our defence gets questions. Once again, gets puts under pressure. And it's true, Spurs are the only team that can go 3-0 up and end up losing 5-3 in the Premier League. I wouldn't even say Stoke or anyone. Not even in the Premier League, but I wouldn't even say Fulham. Well, possibly like a Fulham, but you getting my drift. All in all, I thought the game, we didn't play too bad attackingly, defensively shocking. I think all season we haven't played up to our usual standards, if I'm being totally honest. I don't think we've peaked once. I think we've been playing poor in games, played 5 or 10 minute spurts of good football, but overall I'm waiting for us to peak yet. But now 3-2 against Wolves. Wolves are a decent team, as we were speaking about the other week, away from home. So yeah, no, happy days. Harry came back on the score sheet again. Hello.
Yeah. Ellis, did you see this game?
Yeah, I watched it. Pretty much like what the other boys have said. Like Tottenham made their own mistakes, and they allowed Wolves to get back into the game. Difference is, like going on from what Hack says. Yes, maybe they haven't peaked, but they're still getting results. So take away from that what you will. I'm not going to sit here and start bad-mouthing them. But, I thought Spurs on the whole were still giving a good of account of themselves this year. I think a lot of people have taken Gary Neville's comments out of context. I think he pretty much said a lot of what we were saying last week, that yes, they are where they are, and if they are going to kick on, then they do need to spend bigger. But at the end of the day, it's well publicised how much of a burden this stadium's proven to be, and if they haven't got the investment there, then they haven't got the money to spend. So, and then, as well, there's no divine right for any team to think they can challenge for the title. So, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be reasonably happy how things are going at the moment.
Ellis, what you just said there was, let's put it to you this way, right? We've got no money, we've got no fans. No, we've got no money, right? We've got no money at the moment. We've got no home pitch. We made no signings. To do what we're doing is pretty amazing.
Overachieving.
Yeah, 100%. Overachieving. Punching above our weight at the moment. And I think that has a lot to go down to Mauricio Pochettino. Again, a lot of people are calling for his head. Oh, this, that, the other. I mean, not a lot of people. A few of the deluded Spurs fans are saying that, and I'm like, mate, what do you watch? What are you on? What are you smoking?
Sorry, mate. Calling for who? Calling for him to get sacked?
Yeah, a couple of people on like they've got this Spurs show, they've got a Spurs show Facebook page, and you got a couple of people on there who just talk crap. Mauricio has to go, and I'm like, mate, are you something wrong with you guys?
I don't follow them sort of people, mate. They obviously don't know what they're on about.
But look, they're entitled to their opinion, same as us all. And don't get me wrong, I'll take the 3 points all day long, like I said, and I don't think we played great. And if we can win without playing great, then when we are playing great, teams are going to get slewed.
Yeah, but it's only Wolves, though, isn't it? I mean, it's not really anyone major.
Well, Wolves were a good team last week. They're all we was talking about, mate. What, they've gone downhill since last week?
I was taking the piss, mate, as you lot say, you ain't playing anybody. If it's not top 6, then it's nobody.
Well, yeah, we have. We played the same amount of teams as you've played, mate. Don't forget that.
Well, I don't know the answer to this year, and I should have done my background information on this. But how many away games have Spurs played this year?
I don't know.
Or
Spurs have
class as
won all
away
their
games.
away games.
Every game's an away game, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what I mean? You lot are the homeless football club right now. You lot should go join up with MK Dons or whatever.
Your new shirt sponsor should be the big issue. Help the homeless.
Exactly, mate. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, we've played 11, we've won 8 and lost 3.
Now, to be honest, you guys are doing all right. I didn't see the game yesterday, but yeah, you know, Spurs. I think, look, Pochettino's took you to a place here. You're always going to be up there or thereabouts. You know what I mean? I just want to know now is where Spurs really going to go from here. You know, I think you lot can either go. Well, obviously, you're going to go in two directions, but I think the next 2 years is really important for Spurs. I really do. I think if you lot don't get it right, then I think whether it's going to be financially, you're going to have to recoup money, or whether ambitions of players or the manager. But I think that something's got to happen in Spurs within the next year, 18 months. Like something's got to happen, whether it's more funds coming in to improve what you've already got, or whether it's winning a cup of some sort. Yeah, but I just think that Spurs are on borrowed time at the moment.
I think as well, like, as it's been well publicised that have been getting these players tied down to contracts and things like that. Is there any part of you that thinks that, yeah, they are getting their players tied down in order to ensure a bigger transfer fee in case of they do have to sell or anything like that?
Well,
again?
No, well, do you want to answer that question for him again?
Do you look? It was well publicised. Like, you're getting people tied down on the contracts, and by the sounds of things, you are going to take the option to extend Vertonghen's contract, and isn't it Eriksen's in talks as well? Like, is there a part of you that thinks it's great to get these players on contracts, but also, like, is there a part of you that thinks, well, are we getting these players tied down on contracts? Because look, let's not. For one,
I'll tell you now, Ellis, mate. It's a simple case of however way we think about it, that's how a club should be run.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, in the day,
if there's one club that hasn't done that properly in the last few years, like, it's been us. Like, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to slate you for it whatsoever.
No, but my point, to answer your question, is whether it's an intention to get a higher price if we was to sell them, or even if it was just to keep hold of them and reward them. Either way, they're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So you can't fault them for that. Regarding Spurs, next couple of years, we'll say a lot about Spurs, really. And to be honest, I'm being totally honest, we need to invest. We've been saying that for the past 5 years. Imagine if we had invested the way even Arsenal have, to the point that, and Arsenal is at the top 6 clubs. They've mostly spent the less, other than Tottenham, they've spent the less out of the lot. Mm-hmm. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, they've spent stupid amounts of money. If Tottenham would have had that money to invest, we would have should have been favourites to win the league or something like that. Because we've got the basics for us to push on. We just need that investment. And unfortunately, I don't think we've got it, if I'm being honest. I think that's going to hold us back. I
think when once the stadium's done and you sell the naming rights and stuff like that, then, because haven't you just done a new deal with Nike that's supposed to be one of the biggest Nike kit deals in history or something like that? And
for a long period to 2024.
Something like that. And I think the naming rights for a stadium that is going to be state of the art, like it will be once it's finished. I think you know there won't be any shortage of takers for naming rights, and companies pay stupid money for that as well. So it's just a question of how long is this stadium going to be a burden to you, I think, and whether you can ride out that storm. And also as well, like, once the stadium's done, is Joe Lewis and Levy looking to sell up as well? Like, you don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Sorry, just a quick one, lads. Just check the WhatsApp message group. I just sent you a message in there.
Should we move on to the United game anyways, and then we can get on to the topic? Do you want me to go on to the United game?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Cool, yeah. So, did any of you guys watch it?
The United game?
Yeah.
Yeah, But there's another one I caught the last half hour.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I thought United were pretty shocking, like, to be honest with you, first half. I mean, I was chatting to a mate of mine earlier about it, and he was saying that that's one of the worst Man United performances he's seen in a long time, first half. And fair credit to Bournemouth, sorry. They took the chance well. I think Callum Wilson's a striker in form at the moment, and he took his chance well. I think, but are United starting to turn the corner a little bit in terms of yes, the football is not necessarily what you'd expect from Manchester United team, an attacking team and stuff like that. But are the players starting to show that they are playing for Jose now?
Mourinho's teams always manage to grind out results, don't they?
Yeah, there's no frills with them. Yeah. But they are grinding out results and stuff like that. And to keep going to a certain extent right to the end, I think, as much as a bit of a mess the Rashford goal was, that they got the result at the end of the day, and that's what matters. But I still think there's bigger problems at United. They've got so many players that I don't think are good enough to play for Manchester United. Are probably, unquestionably the biggest club in the UK. And that'll bring us on to the topic next, which would be quite interesting, I think, to hear all our opinions on what a big club is and stuff like that. But I mean, someone like Lukaku is nowhere good enough to be the centre forward for Manchester United.
Well,
you look at it in terms of strikers that have gone for big money. I mean, what did he go for? Like 90 mil? And then you look at what we paid for both Lacazette and Aubameyang, other strikers that have been what Liverpool have paid for their strikers, and to a certain extent, putting context on it, I know the money in football's changed a long time ago, but you look to what City paid for Aguero, that amount of time ago, they paid 30 mil, and in today's market that probably would be pretty much the same as what Man U paid for Lukaku in terms of how the inflation in terms of the money involved in football and stuff like that. So
who do you think they could have got then, especially at that time period, or should have gone for?
You look, it was what? How long ago was it? It was
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So they could have got. I think if they'd have gone in for Aubameyang, they probably could have got Aubameyang back then. I think they could have.
Yeah, but this is not a dig.
They could have got Lacazette.
Aubameyang could have gone to a lot of clubs. Yeah, before he went to Arsenal, he could have gone to a lot of clubs, but he didn't. There must be a reason before that.
I was the same, Hack. I was like, if he's that good, why is no club coming for him? And you read reports, his attitude's bad and stuff like this, but everything I'm reading completely said he's not involved in the team environment.
You've heard nothing bad about him?
No, and if you look at the way he responds to the team and stuff like that, he's very much, you've seen him give up penalties for Lacazette to take in order to build up his confidence and stuff like that. Now, that doesn't strike me as someone that is a bit of an egomaniac or something like that. I think they could have gone and got the likes of Icardi. They could have probably gone and got Higuain if he was looking to leave Juventus. Reports are that Lewandowski's wanted out of Bayern for quite a while. So, if we're talking about players like that, and then you're looking at the next tier down, trying to punt on the next big thing. I think they could have probably have got Dybala from Palermo before he went to Juve. I think they could have probably have got what's the guy? Yeah, Higuain. They could have probably gone and got Insignia from Napoli. I mean, all these players. I think we'd all agree that they're all a lot better than Lukaku. So, I just think the recruitment at Man United has been substandard for a long time.
Well, Edward hasn't pulled his weight.
No, let's not. Yeah, and so whether the prospect of going to play for United under Mourinho, where you are shackled in terms of your creativity and the type of football you're going to play, the level of man management that he insists on is not as appetising as it once was. Who knows? But let's not forget, Manchester United are who they are, and if there's any club in the UK that can probably get who they want if the money's there, it would be them. I still think that.
Nah, they're not a bigger club than Tottenham, I'll say that.
That comes at the end. Well, that will go on to the next topic. So, Hass, as it was your topic, do you want to introduce it and we can move on to that? Unless you've got anything.
What was it? What was that? The Man United game?
Yeah.
Lucky again, isn't it? Really, Jose, man, he's the ultimate football sniper. He just kills off your players one by one, man. To be honest, I ain't got really much to say about United. I think they're pretty dry. The football's dead. The positive things they've got on their team is the young players and that, but while Mourinho's there, that's soon going down the toilet as well. And to be honest, all I can say is that I'm pretty happy about it. So yeah, that's all I've got to say on him.
Cool.
Yeah, so kind of that's
right. Question of the week. Right, so this week's my question of the week. And this week, I want you to listen to what my question is. Right? What, so I'm emphasising the word what makes a club a big club? Is it success? Is it money? Is it size of stadium? Is it size of fan base? So that's my question this week. And I'm going to start with who wants to go first, actually?
You got to pick someone. It's your question.
You got to pick one, yeah?
Pick just pick the order from now, and then we can just throw one after us, whoever's.
Glenroy, Hakan, Ellis, me.
All right. What makes a club a big club? All right. Well, for me, it's a combination of things. History is one. When I mean history, I mean history of winning stuff, not just taking part in a competition. Fan base, definitely got to be up there. And the fan base around the world as well, not just in the UK. What else would I say? Obviously the money aspect of it to a certain extent. But I think the money aspect comes into it more in like the recent times of the game rather than older clubs, because obviously money's just coming into football sort of like now rather than what it was, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago and beyond that. Yeah, so I think so far, so money, trophies, fan base. Go on in.
Right, so there's some stats, right? So, the most passionate. We don't want passionate, do we?
No, for me that doesn't really that don't mean nothing.
That could be Cambridge United, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Right, a list of the most successful teams in England, yeah? So we've got Man United, obviously top. They've got 42 titles in total.
So this, hang on. So while you're reading it, so this is trophies.
This is glory.
Whoa. Leave this to your go, because you don't know if anyone else has got all this stuff to talk
about. Yeah. For me, anyway, yeah. So for me, it'll be fan base, resources, as in money and that. I'm on the fence on that one, to be honest with you, because I think there's big teams out there still now that ain't got a pot to piss in. So money for me doesn't really come into it, although it does help. So I'm on the fence on that one. But I'd say history, fan base, and them two things. And I'll give a couple of examples on that. For instance, you got some big teams. That I think that I'd class as big teams. In the Premier League and out of the Premier League, say like in the Championship and even down to probably League One as well. There's probably some big teams in there that I would class as big teams. I'll class, for instance, example, Leeds United. I think they're a big team. They've got history. They've got the fan base. I mean, obviously, at the moment they're not battling it out of the top tier of football, but for history and for a fan base, they've got to be up there. It's a bit like Newcastle. That's another team. Don't win nothing on even history. They ain't really got much history, but they've got a fan base. So does that class them as a big club? this is the thing. I think it depends on what we class as a big club and the things that we're classing them on as a big club. How much do they acquire to making them a big club? Yeah, that's what I've got to say. So basically, I'm just going to sit on the fence for a little bit, maybe come back round.
So you took fucking 10 minutes to tell us that you're going to sit on the fence, basically.
Hell yeah, big time. That's what I do.
All right. Well, Hass, are we on about a big club or a super club? Sorry, mate. Big club or super club?
What's a super club? I say, mate, your mic's gone, bro.
Yeah. No. Take your phones off. A super club is like a Man United, a Bayern Munich.
Hassan, stop talking, mate.
Yeah, shut up, mate.
Your earphones are gone. Mate, we can't.
Right.
Hassan,
yeah. Hack, if I was you, I'd just go, what makes a big club? And because
no.
And I would say that, we're not the elite clubs like the Reals, the Barca's, the Barca. Yeah, there is a huge difference. But yeah, I would just go with the question of what makes a big club.
Well, we to be honest, it's a very odd, weird question, to be honest, because we can, like you say, Glenn, we can class Leeds as a big club. Do you know what I mean? Nottingham Forest, they can be classed as a big club.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Aston
Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and if we're speaking like that, it is about history, fan base, what they've achieved. But then again, if we're speaking like that, does a big club, it doesn't come on to what they are now, for example.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I mean. It's hard, isn't it? Because
it is hard. So it's hard to give out that example.
Because I wouldn't necessarily call Leeds and that a big club now.
No. Do you know what I mean?
You know.
But if we're speaking about what makes me think what a big club is when you go abroad and you go to different countries and you see that club's like shirts for sale in their sports shop.
That's your mic smash up.
I went to Amsterdam on the weekend and bought a pair of gloves in this sports shop. In front of me, there's this little Dutch kid with his dad, and he's buying a Manchester United backpack. Now, to me, that's what makes a club a big club.
Yeah,
when you go to China and you see loads of Chinese kids wearing Tottenham shirts with Harry Kane on their back. That's what I determine. If I see that happening in a different country, for example, if I'm in a holiday, like I went on a holiday earlier on in the year to Cape Verde, and I'm there and I see an Arsenal kit, like from one of the locals, one of the Arsenal kits, where someone wearing one of those kits, that determines that as a big club to me, because that's how widespread that club has got.
Is that one of those? Is that one of those original kits? Was that a real fake?
No. Even if that guy in Netherlands or Switzerland or whatever decides to wear a fake or a real Man United top, for example, that's his decision to wear a Man United top, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still being associated with that club, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, and it's just like that's what I determine makes someone a big club. And if and from the back of that, you've got the big fans, you've got loads of fans, and you've got the history, because otherwise that comes after.
Hassan, mate, you need to look on the WhatsApp, because we're sending you messages, mate, because your mic is still not good. Yeah, stop talking, bro, because it's not good.
Take your earphones out.
Yeah. Ellis, you might as well have your say then, mate.
Cool. Cheers, lads. Right, what makes a big club? I think things that need to be taken into consideration are the honours that they've won over their history, the standard of the honours that they've won as well. We're not just talking like like Man United last year considered the Community Shield as a trophy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about winning the top division, whether it's the Premier League or Division 1, European Cup and the Champions League as it's called now. All those things need to be taken into consideration. The history of the club as well. Things that maybe have happened off the field as much as on the field can have an impact on the club's profile. I think another thing that needs to be taken into consideration is iconic managers that have managed at the club as well. We've talked about Nottingham Forest, and they probably have one of the most iconic managers in Brian Clough. Managed them for large amounts of time. I think the size of the fan base, both domestically and internationally, determines the level of the club. The size of the stadium has is not the be all and end all in it, but it can have a factor in it. Because let's not forget, if you're a mediocre team or a smaller team, what's the point in having a huge stadium? And I think that's where sort of Newcastle might score a few points over other clubs that, yes, they haven't necessarily won as much, but they still pack out a 53,000 stadium week in, week out. Impact the club has had on British football as well, I think needs to be taken into consideration. I think, as much as Man City are probably the latest comers to the party in terms of how they're winning honours left, right and centre, you can't knock that. The work Guardiola's doing here is probably going to be spoken about 15, 20 years in time. As one of the greatest teams, or the greatest football, some of the greatest football scene on these shores, especially in the Premier League. And I think, you got to look at what the club is in terms of an institution. I mean, Manchester United have gone through a few barren years, but I'm sure we'll all agree here as an institution, they are the biggest thing in English football at the moment. Still, in my opinion. You've only got to look at what they stand for abroad, and I think if you go through the list of things that I've spoken about, they tick every box in terms of iconic managers they've had, going back to Sir Matt Busby, Sir Alex Ferguson. His history. They've had things like the way they won the Champions League against Bayern Munich in Barcelona that year. They've had the air disaster which has impacted them. They've got the stadium. All stuff like that. I think if you're looking for a club that ticks every single one of these boxes, they are the biggest. And you've got to look at what they are internationally as a brand. They are the biggest brand in British football as well. I don't think, I know we touched on it earlier, I don't necessarily think in order to be a big club, you have to be in the top league. I've gone through, I've almost done a list of what I think are the biggest institutions in terms of football within what I would consider the biggest clubs. And I think, there is a surprise of the way I've ranked them. So if you want me to go through them, I will do. You got Manchester United on actually 45 major honours. They've won 13 Premier League, 7 Division 1s, 12 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, 1 European Cup, 2 Champions League. They've won 1 Cup Winners' Cup, 1 European Super Cup, 1 World Club Cup, 1 World Club Intercontinental Cup, and 1 Europa League. I think the second biggest is Liverpool. They've won 18 Division 1 titles, 4 European Cups, 1 Champions League, 7 FA Cups. They've won 8 League Cups, 3 UEFA Cups, and 3 European Super Cups. I think Arsenal are probably the third biggest club in the UK with 3 Premier League titles, 10 Division 1 titles, 13 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, and a European Cup Winners' Cup. City, I would probably put fourth with look, we're not talking about league positions or just what we're talking the biggest institutions and the history and everything like that. I think City with 3 Premier League titles, 1 Division 1 title, 5 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, and 1 European Super Cup. And then I'd rank Chelsea with 5 Premier League titles, 1 Division 1 title, 8 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, 1 Europa, 1 Champions League, and 1 European Super Cup. Then I would rank Everton with 9 Division 1 titles, 5 FA Cups, and 1 Cup Winners' Cup. And then I'd probably rank, in terms of stature, Aston Villa with 7 Division 1 titles, 7 FA Cup titles, 5 League Cups, 1 European Cup, and 1 European Super Cup. And then I'd rank Spurs with 1 Division 1 title in 1961, and 2 Division 1 titles, 8 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 2 UEFA Cups, and 1 Cup Winners' Cup. And then I'd rank Nottingham Forest with 1 Division 1 title, 2 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 2 European Cup titles, and 1 UEFA Super Cup. And then I would rank Leeds with...
give your ass a rest, man.
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, how long is this fucking list going to go on for? What, you got a top 20 or something?
Top 10.
Fucking hell.
Matt, just so you know, Man United have won the Champions League 3 times, not 2 times.
No.
Liverpool won it 5 times, not 4 times.
No, Man United have actually won the Euro. I'm glad you're listening, but they won the European Cup once and the Champions League twice.
Yeah,
because you know it wasn't always called the Champions League, right?
Yeah, they've got different names.
But it's the same way with the League Division League 1, yeah, and the Premier League. It's all stated as the same thing, isn't it? It's still the top league.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, bro. It's different identities. It's different...
You know, the league didn't start in 92-93 season, right?
I know that, Matt. I know that. But okay.
Okay.
So hold on a minute. So Liverpool, Man United have won 2 Champions Leagues and 1 European Cup, yeah?
Yeah, so Liverpool have won...
So who plays in the European Cup?
It was what the Champions League was called before it was the Champions League.
So they replaced the European Cup with the Champions League, yeah?
Yeah, but it wasn't... But there wasn't a top 4. It was the Champions, though, bro, as well. That's what I remember.
But also, same way as the League 1 was replaced by the Premier League, right?
Division 1 was replaced by the Premier League, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
Liverpool have won 18 leagues.
Yeah, when I say Division 1, I don't mean like what is the Championship. It is what Division 1 used to be.
The top division, basically. The top league.
So you're basing yours on the stature of the cups that they've won, yeah?
In terms of what they've won, yeah.
So someone like Nottingham Forest who have won back-to-back
European Cups,
subject to, we can call it the Champions League now for those people who might not have been around that day or might not understand, are a smaller club than... Who else did you say, Ramsey?
He's got Villa. He's got Notts Forest.
Villa have won the European Cup once.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've won. The reason why I put them above Nottingham Forest is because Nottingham Forest have only won the Division 1, or what would now be the Premier League, once, whereas Aston Villa have won it 7 times.
Yeah.
So the last time Everton won a cup was in 1995.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Everton have won the Division 1 title 9 times. Okay. And the only reason why they didn't compete in what was the European Cup is last time they won the league title, English teams were banned from Europe. So maybe their stature would have been higher if, after the Heysel disaster, English teams were banned, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a question then, yeah. Okay, so how long do we... I mean... Because of the history, does that mean that these clubs are automatically going to be always classed as big clubs, or is there a time span as to how long a club we can last as a big club before they haven't done anything? Or, for instance, in like someone like City, how long have they got to keep going before they are known as a big club?
I think they are a big club. Right? I don't think you can knock history. Like, if someone wins something,
right? History. They're currently in the rankings, yeah. They have won 18 in total to whatever league, Charity Shield, including the Charity Shield and that shit. They have won 18 cups.
Yeah, I've got them with 50, what we would call 15 major honours. I've got them down as.
Yeah, so -3, yeah.
Yeah, okay, 15 major honours.
Okay. At the end of the day, they've won 18 trophies.
Okay, but then. As you were saying earlier on, like with Manchester United, the commercial side of it and the branding side of it, and the side where you go to the Far East and you go to America and you go to South America and all these other places, and you ask them, Man City or Man United, they're all going to say Man United. So that's what I'm saying. How far have City got to go before they're... I mean, they obviously are a big club, but are they really a big club that we're talking? Like... you know, I wouldn't class City as a big club as of yet. And but when I mean a big club, obviously they're a big club. They've got they've got the money and all that. But what I'm saying is, in terms of commercial, in terms of worldwide reputation, are they really that big a club?
I think what comes with the brand of football they play and with having Guardiola, their profile internationally has gone as big as it's ever been. And
totally agree. It's got bigger. It's got bigger. But are they on par with the Liverpools, with the Uniteds, with the Arsenals? You know what I mean? With
I think though. I
asked the question. I didn't even answer myself.
No, how we feel.
I think that. See, look, if we're talking about big clubs and stuff like that, yeah, they are but there are, like I said, the newcomers to the party, but with them, and I think I'm a bit of a traditionalist, like the revenue and the international side of things are probably I'd like to say the least important, because it really is about winning things and what you do on the pitch, and the commercial department is almost a separate entity for a club and stuff like that. But
so to kind of like go on, sorry, let's finish it. Sorry.
No, but yeah, I think that my answer would be look, I don't think I can't see anyone knocking City off their perch for a while yet, but I think that. Yeah, I think you have to consider a big club in terms of the honours that they've won, the iconic managers. I don't want to get into the stadium side of things, because their tickets were still on general sale yesterday for the empty head. Pep's had an impact on British football.
I mean, how long has City really been? When did they win their first league? 2011.
Was it Pellegrini the first?
No. It was Mancini, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that 20? Anyone Google it? 2011 or something like that? 2012? Something like that. So they've say for the past sort of like 6-7 years, they've been doing bits. Yeah. So does that mean that after 6-7 years they can be classed as one of these,
But yeah, I think they've only been at the party last 6-7 years, but in that last 6 or 7 years, they've delivered 3 Premier League titles, FA Cups, League Cups, and got So they've got
but this is what I'm saying about the money side of it now, because obviously 15-20 years ago, or even 10 years ago,
they're in League One.
There wasn't. Yeah, but what I'm saying is the money that's available now. And with owners coming in. Teams wasn't able to do this, say 15-20 years ago, which makes the what they did do a lot more credible and a lot more
100%.
You know what I mean, than what they're doing now.
You almost expect it with City. I mean, they've got untold amounts of.
It's like PSG, isn't it?
Yeah, resources. They've got 2 or 3 players for every position. They've got if they get an injury come January, they won't hold back and go and spending 60-70 mil on someone. That oil money, it's never going to run out. So, to a certain extent, I don't ever think City will necessarily be given the credit their style of football and the brand of football they produce deserves, because people kind of almost expect it from them because of the amount of money that they're shelling out, and that's why I have to sometimes question Guardiola. Like, as much as a fantastic manager he is in terms of the football they produce, like, he's been very lucky over the years in terms of the team he inherited at Barca. He didn't do anything that the manager before him didn't do at Bayern. And then, has he done anything that the managers before him at City have done as well? That's what I might pose as my question.
I won't go into it now then.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm gonna have to.
It's like playing a game for him. It's like playing a game of Football Manager when you've got the editor. You just hold your finger down on 9999999. You want someone, you go and get them.
But do you know what though? Saying that, he is lucky with all that. But as well, but you've got to remember though, when he took over Barca, he got rid of Etu, he got rid of Ronaldinho, he got rid of some big players that were at the time were you know what I mean? And then he brought in Messi, brought in Busquets, you know what I mean? Let Xavi and Iniesta flourish.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
and that was big calls in them time there.
But to a certain extent, if you're a manager of Barcelona, you've got to be willing to make the big calls. And, you know, he got rid of Etu and brought in Ibrahimovic. Didn't know how to manage him.
No, he got rid of him though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ibra.
He brought in Henry and he had a midfield of Iniesta and Xavi. I mean, possibly two of the greatest midfielders ever to play the game. So with regards to that, I think
but he did have them, but they weren't the full because you remember at the time as well they had players like who else did they have in there at the time? There was Xavi and Iniesta, but they had a couple of other players in there as well. I can't even think now. It's quite so far back. But what I'm saying is that at the time you got to remember, coming like players like Etu, Ronaldinho, they'd just won the Champions League the years before. You know what I mean? And he's come in after managing the youth team and just said, you know what, you're not for me on your bike. Like you've got to think he's taken that, and you got to think them sort of players there, like you say, Ibrahimovic as well. That's big egos. That's big. That's player power. Look at what's going on at Real Madrid now. Just in search of a new manager. You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to come across like shouting down Pep. He's changed the game. Like, that's what everyone. That is what everyone aspires to now. You know, is to play that style of football. And so, but I just think that it would. What I would love to see is for Pep to go to a lesser club.
An Arsenal.
Mate, that would be the dream. But a lesser club, like for example, a Sleeping Giant, which I think...
A project, somewhere where he's got a project.
Say if Newcastle get bought by someone with a shed load of cash, and they pull on the heartstrings of the relationship he used to have with Sir Bobby Robson in terms of when they were at Barcelona together and how Robson's connected at Newcastle, and the fact that Pep once actually wrote Robson a letter asking personally to sign for Newcastle at the last stage of his career. And if they pulled on that and said, look, do you know what, we've got this, blah, 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 everything's there, we just need to be successful. I think he'd get a lot more. I think almost would go to say if he did that sort of project and made a team like that successful, it would be arguably talked about as his greatest achievements.
Yeah, especially with Mark Ashley in charge, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
I do hear that. I think you're right with Bayern Munich. I think you've definitely got a case there. I don't think he done anything at Bayern Munich. That was a big letdown. But I think since he's come to City, I mean, he has spent a lot of money, but I think that the improvement that he's given players, like. You know, I mean, you can go and spend 50, 60 million on players, but you still got to get them in the team, gel them. And as well, he just makes players better.
How is he making... how does he define a big club then?
What?
How does he define a big club?
Who?
Pep.
Pep?
Yeah. That was my point. My point to you is that was my question.
He's getting eggy.
Fucking run through and chat a load of crap and not even giving me the chance to answer my part of it all. And then you change it all up now.
Listen, you little crybaby bunting, yeah. You remember your mic was like going on some Scooby-Doo thing. You know what I mean? Had to log out. Then comes back in 10 minutes later, starts bubbling off his mouth like he's Phil Mitchell. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Anyways, go on then. Sorry.
Go on then. We'll go back to your
Well, I think we've lost the momentum of that, haven't we? Really, let's be honest with it.
No, we're waiting for you.
No. You know what I mean? It's your big question,
It's your moment.
You know what I mean? A moment like this.
Well,
go on, Hassan. Big club time.
If you want me to be honest with you, mate, I think you kind of like killed it. So,
what you mean? You mean you killed it?
If I say you want to see it.
Right then, I guess we'll...
Oh, you've just killed our conversation now, haven't you? You got any views on Pep Ass?
Not really, boys. I'm just saying we just got off topic, didn't we?
No, not really. We were talking about.
I go and do all my prep. Yeah, I get myself ready for asking my question, but you don't allow me to answer it, and you lot go off and fucking chat a load of shit about Pep Guardiola. Why don't we have a separate conversation about Manchester City?
Mate, you could. Why don't you flipping talk about your big club now? Remember, Bob, you went off for like five minutes when your mic wasn't even working, mate, and we just carried on. You know what I mean? And yeah, we've gone off topic, but we was talking about this big club for quite a while, and nobody else came in. Even Akan's gone, and now you've just come back. So now we're saying you can go and do your thing. Stop crying like a little bitch and talk, man. Hello. That's nothing.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well. So coming up on next week's show. Yeah.
That was interesting. It's that Gaza thing, isn't it?
It's Towie time.
It's that Gaza poster he's got posted up on the thing. He just starts crying every time flipping. That's what Gaza was known for, isn't it? Crying.
But yeah, anyone in the comments want to know what a big club is, then please add it in and we'll endeavour to get back to you. I
suppose we better round it off on that one then.
Yeah. So
next week,
providing it's all right with everyone involved, I will pose the question of name your all-time Premier League 11, any formation possible, any players from any club from any era within inside the Premier League. For those that don't know, that started in 1992 to 93 season. And
so what was your question again? Name
your all-time Premier League 11. Okay.
Oh, that's hard, bro.
Yeah. Any formation you want to play, but the player that you name has to play. Like, for example, you can't play 6 in midfield or anything like that.
What? I forgot to go all out attack, mate.
11 up to 0-0 to 10. But
there's been some good players over the years, isn't there?
Yeah, there's been some great players over the years. Haas, do you want to come in and finish off on what was a big club before we wrap up on this week? No, okay. Anyways, catch up next week, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next week, same time as usual, 8 o'clock Sunday night. And have a good week, all.
See ya.
See you later.
Peace.
Peace.